Hey there, and welcome to the Think Fitness Life podcast. We're fueled by the incredible clients who inspire us every day, allowing us to elevate their health and fitness journeys. On this show, you'll gain valuable insights from top professionals, hear inspiring transformation stories, and discover the knowledge and motivation to create your own best life. Let's dive in. As someone who has continuously used therapy as a way to heal and elevate my personal performance, I know wholeheartedly that you cannot always read the label when you're in the jar. And that's why it's so helpful to have a professional in your corner to talk to. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp to provide our listeners with the opportunity to work with a licensed therapist from the comfort of your own home. Receive 10% off your first month when you sign up by going to betterhelp.com/TFL. That's betterhelp.com/T as in think, F as in fitness, L as in life. And remember, you're not alone. There are people out there who can help.
All right, welcome back to the Think Fitness Life podcast. In the world today, we have a big issue with dietary intake. We have levels of obesity that are rising. We have levels of sickness that is increasing. And one of the big things over the years is, especially as a coach and a trainer, what we've been seeing is metabolic deficiency. And that leads us to really talking about type 2 diabetes. Now, a lot of people know type 1 is more generic and genetic, right? You're going to have it dealt with, but type 2 is something we develop over time. And a lot of people at first didn't understand that they were causing themselves to have type 2 diabetes as they got older. And I always make a kind of a running joke, but it's not really a joke with my clients when they're saying, "Oh, I'm going to go eat donuts. I'm going to eat unhealthy." I'm going to go, that's type 2 diabetes in a box, knowing that it's helping them understand intake of certain foods, high sugars can lead to type 2 diabetes, which is destroying our metabolisms, destroying our health. But today we have from the diabetes reversal group, which I've never heard before. So we're going to learn all about it today. Coming on, CEO, Dr. Jeffrey Hockings. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Glad to be here.
So tell us kind of where you started on your journey with, let's say, health and wellness and fitness and nutrition, and then get into kind of how you started this diabetes reversal group.
Yeah, so quick story on it. Again, I've been in healthcare now 35 years. And the first 18 years of our career, my wife and I, we built and sold 4 wellness centers in Southern California.
Nice.
Kind of pain management wellness centers with chiropractors, medical doctors working together under the same roof. Very high insurance reimbursement. So we kind of got tired of that whole game. And quite honestly, you want to make a bigger impact because type 2 diabetes runs in our family. I had an aunt who died of it. My wife's dad had diabetes for 31 years. He passed away a couple of years ago. So it's a very personal mission for us. And when I was going to school as a chiropractor, we learned that you can actually reverse type 2 diabetes with proper lifestyle changes. But when we looked at this 16 years ago, there was no program somebody could join back then that showed people exactly what they should eat and not eat with no nonsense, right? What supplements to take, what exercise to do, provide coaching, training, and actually guarantee results. So we created it, and it took us 9 years of tweaking and testing to kind of crack the code. And once we did that, we applied for a patent in 2017. I got patent approval 3.5 years later. So now we have the only patented system in the world that reverses type 2 diabetes. And now we're just expanding and it's going all over the place. Now it's 100% telemedicine. We're expanding into India in a couple months. So yeah, that's kind of the journey of this. But I just got into it as being a lifelong athlete and obviously walking my talk, eating the right way, exercising, and just knowing that most of these diseases, these chronic illnesses, these metabolic like diabetes, heart disease, you can prevent it. And if you get it, you can reverse it with the proper lifestyle changes. That's where we come in.
I feel like that's a very prominent thing with people like our backgrounds where we saw something from our grandparents or a family member and we said, oh, we need to change something in the now to understand how to prevent the future. Yeah. And it's crazy because a lot of people don't view the world like that. Like they're thinking, okay, diabetes, it's never going to happen to me. Or I don't know what they think. I'll tell you the truth, because as at the beginning, when I look at certain food or think of how people eat certain food every day, I'm like, how do people not think about the trajectory like that it's going to cause on the system? Maybe that's just my physiology background and learning, but it's like, wow. But people have really no idea.
Yeah. I mean, again, they just don't know what they don't know, right? Like, I don't know how to fix a car, but there's
Correct.
lots of auto mechanics that know how to fix a car, right? So it's like kind of a similar thing. People just are so trained in, I'm just going to eat what I want. My doctor's there. If I'm doing something wrong, whatever, my doctor will kind of get me back on track. And that's the doctor's job, is to make sure my body keeps working right. There's a huge lack of education of how you can be more proactive, right? Do these things, you won't get diabetes, heart disease, etc. But of course, no one's teaching these people how to do that. They have to find it on their own, unfortunately. So,
And that should be the role of the doctor. But as I've learned, and no offense to doctors, because you go to your general practitioner, they're meant to deal with like generality. Like they've taken maybe a semester ish or a course load of many different things, and they're wearing a lot of hats. So nutrition might not be on their forefront or their expertise, which, if you ask me, I'm sure you're the same way, that's kind of letting down what we're here to do as doctors, or as a doctor's here to do for general nutrition. So when people go in, normally, what do doctors say when someone comes out with diabetes? Or what do you hear when people reach out to you, say, hey, my doctor said so-and-so?
well, yeah, the biggest thing we get when people join our program, once they know it's reversible, they say, how come my doctor never told me about this? And they've been with their doctor 10, 15, 20 years, and they've never heard from their doctor that it's reversible. So to your point, the doctors in med school, they get maybe 4 hours of the training in nutrition, 4 hours, but they get 500 or 600 hours worth of pharmaceutical training. So when they get out of school, they're trained to diagnose a disease like diabetes and then prescribe medications. That's it. Now they might say, hey, well, you should watch what you eat, lose a little bit of weight, and kind of eliminate some of the sugar, and you'll be fine though. But keep taking those meds, right?
Right.
That's how they're trained, is to treat a disease with medications. And when the medications stop working, well, let's do some surgery, cut out the organ or whatever. That's the training. So we have to retrain patients that, hey, even though your doctor's not aware of this, this is reversible. And here's how you do it. We're going to walk you through it, and we guarantee results. We got a patent that proves we can do it. So that's the disconnect, right? Is the doctors aren't sharing with their patients that it's reversible. But again, to your point, it's not really the doctor's fault. Like, I don't blame the doctors. They're not trying to hide the information from the patients. They literally just don't know, right? Like I said, you don't know what you don't know. That includes doctors. So,
and that's why a lot of them with these, when like this, we're podcasts and we're trying to get health awareness out to people more that maybe even the doctors don't know. And I love having that kind of nutrition health conversation with my doctor. They're very, really receptive and working back and forth to make themselves better, and then to kind of learn and bounce ideas off. For you, when you said pharmacy, this is a big thing, because I know a lot of people, as soon as they're going to hear this, they're going to go, oh, I'm going to think, how do I do this with medication? And before the whole blow up of GLP-1s and all that stuff, what was the medication prior to that? When people would go in, your standard, like, I mean, there's a lot, but you're right. Doctors would put it here, take this pill, manage this.
yeah. I mean, over the last 20 years, there's been a couple dozen diabetic meds, right? From metformin to glipizide to insulin. I mean, they all work if you want to do the artificial reducing of your blood sugar, right? So I'm not disputing the meds work, but every one of these medications, they have side effects. And the most common thing that they all have in common is kidney damage, right? The more medications you take and the longer you take them, the more stress you put in your kidneys. And eventually that's why most diabetics develop kidney issues, because they're bombarding their body with so many toxic man-made medications, your body just can't handle it. It's like if you smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day for 20 years, what do you think's going to happen to your lungs? Right? I mean, it's just physiology. I mean, you can't keep doing that and not have consequences. So that's the issue, right? Is getting them off the meds. Now with the whole GLP-1 craze, that's like the flavor of the month, right? Is the GLP-1. Everyone's taking it. But it's the same. It doesn't matter whether it's GLP-1, Ozempic, it doesn't matter. It's still a medication. And our patients don't want to take any of that. They want to get off that stuff because they don't like the way it makes them feel. And they know they're not supposed to take, especially Ozempic, you're not supposed to take it long-term the rest of your life. And when you get off Ozempic, what happens to your weight? We're right back up, right? Because it's not a permanent solution. So again, but people, it's human nature. They want the shortcut. What can I do where I can keep eating all the crap I want to eat, take a pill, and not get disease? Yeah, it just doesn't work that way.
And that's the answer I was looking for. That is spot on. Be right, because what people don't realize, they think it's, oh, I'm going to go on this and then I can come off of it. When reality, you said you're messing with physiology. You stay on this trajectory for long term, which you're not supposed to. What do you think it's going to do with the body? I think a lot of people need to realize a lot of these drugs are not supposed to be meant to be long-term solutions for something that can be fixed from a metabolic standpoint, from a habit standpoint, lifestyle standpoint. Hence where you come in when people are going to read, oh, how do you reverse type 2 diabetes? Most people will think, oh, he's going to try to sell me on some sort of medication, but that's not you.
Yeah, exactly. We want people off their medications. That's where reversal is, right? It's when your blood sugar is normal, taking no diabetic meds. Because you can get your blood sugar normal pretty easily when you bombard yourself with insulin, metformin, Ozempic. Yeah, it'll push your blood sugar down to normal pretty easy. Yeah. But that's easy, right? The hard part is getting normal blood sugar without the meds. And that's where we come in. See, a lot of people, they don't realize too, is that you're talking about the long-term thing, right? When the FDA approves a medication, they never wait 10 years or 20 years to see what the long-term effects of that drug is on somebody. They might do a study over 3 months, 6 months, and that's it. So you don't know what these drugs do to you if you've been taking it for 10 years or longer. And then here's the other kicker. There's never been a study done where the FDA tests, like say taking metformin along with a high blood pressure med. Like those two drugs together, right? They've never been tested, take them together for 6 months or a year, what that does to your body. Then you add a third med, a fourth med, a fifth med. There's never been any study. So you're basically a human guinea pig for what's going to happen to your body when you're taking more than one medication. There's never been a study done doing multiple meds together. So it's a lot of people don't realize that.
And that's going to be to wonder what, especially now with the GLP-1, Ozempic, what that's going to look like if people are on multiple different medications. I would just say, I mean, I'm not a doctor, I can't say anything, but I would say just be aware. And like, you might want to ask your doctor, hey, what are the side effects? What's going to happen down the road? Because there's always that downstream effect that, A, you're right, people don't care about because they want the effect right now, but then you're changing your own physiology and it can be permanent in the future. That's what a lot of, like you said, the drug companies aren't going to tell you that or even hint at that.
Well, and your doctor, even if you ask them that question, if they're being honest, if you're taking more than one medication, if they're being honest, they would say, what? I have no idea what the long-term effects of you taking metformin and blood pressure med is. No idea. There's no study ever been done, so I don't know what the result's going to be. But a lot of them, they won't even kind of broach that subject, right? Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong. You can take them, no problem. So that's where I have an issue where they kind of lose the honesty factor when someone asks them a hard question like, hey, if I'm taking 3 meds, what's the long-term effect if I take this stuff every day for 5 years? They're like, don't ask me that.
Yeah. And when you get people that reach out to you in your program, and let's say they're on 3 or 4 meds, where do you start with someone like that?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'll make sure we're clear right there. We're not stepping in the primary care role when someone joins our program.
Okay.
If we don't diagnose anybody, they come to us, they're already diagnosed as a diabetic, right? We don't prescribe meds. Their doctor's already got them on the meds. And we don't take them off their meds either. So our job is we coach them through our lifestyle program, right? And when the blood sugar starts coming down, when it gets below like 110, 105 in the morning, our coach will tell the patient, hey, it's time to call your doctor so they can reduce the dose of one of your meds. So it's really up to the doctor which one they want to get them off first. Now, again, if it's me, if they're on insulin, you want to get them off insulin first. That's the most toxic of all of them. So get them off the insulin first, then you go to your other oral meds. But you want to do one medication at a time. If they're on 3 diabetic meds, just take away one first, then the next, then the next. But it's a gradual weaning over 3 to 7 months in our program. It's not like you're off of these things cold turkey. But our job is we basically have to force the hand of their doctor. Like, so a lot of doctors, I don't know about this wellness program, but when the blood sugar starts getting low, their doctor has no choice but to start weaning them off their meds because they don't want the blood sugar getting too low. So we basically have to give that doctor the objective evidence they need to feel safe that they can start reducing. And they have no problem with that. Like I said, again, the blood sugar gets higher. What does the doctor do? They increase the dose of the meds, right? So when it starts coming back down, they'll start decreasing, but you have to show them. They're not going to do it if your blood sugar is 180.
Correct.
If your blood sugar gets down like 100 or less, then, oh my gosh, cut one of those pills in half, or, you know what I mean? So that's our job, is to basically make it easy for that doctor to start weaning.
And a lot of it's about that measuring. I've heard that, and I laugh because I've heard that scenario so many times when people start going back to their doctors because they don't want to be on medication, or even some of my own family members. They're like, I don't want to be on this, and this. I tell them, go back to the doctor. The number one thing the doctor says, I don't know about this. Let's give it a couple more months. Things are looking good. But then when they start to change, to give people that insight that yes, they can come off of these at a slower rate than they might think. It's like you said, it's not cold turkey, but you have the ability to further progress yourself off of whatever people are taking. Because I think a lot of people think that once they're on something, they're just stuck there. And that's it. They don't know how to get off of it. So your program offers that flexibility in working with the doctors to help people get to where they want to be. And I think that's so important for especially a lot of people with diabetes, because you're right, they have no idea where to start.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nice. So that's why we keep that relationship between the patient and their doctor. We're not trying to steal the patient away from the doctor. And it's nice when you're actually able to see the doctor's eyes kind of light up like, how did you do that? Like, so they don't know. Like most of these doctors that have practiced like 10, 15, 20 years, they've never in their entire careers been able to get somebody off their diabetic meds and see it reversed. Never. Like, we're the first ones. So it's really interesting to see that dynamic shift and kind of shift their paradigm a little bit on what they believe is actually possible.
So most people, they really don't know how to reverse diabetes, and they're going to be tuning into this to say, hey, how do I do this? Oh, so for your process, where does it start? Number one, someone is wanting to lower their instances of diabetes or help their overall health. Where's your program start them?
Yeah, well, again, for us, for people that get into the program, they watch one of our free webinars that explains kind of the whole deal. So obviously there's foods you got to give up eating, right? That's going to help bring your blood sugar down. We provide our patented supplements along with it. So our secret sauce is what you can eat and not eat, and the nutritional supplements we provide. And our supplements have 87 different nutrients in them. It's not just 3 or 4 things like cinnamon and chromium and whatever. That it's very, very robust. And so that's the stuff that we got patented. And so they eat the right foods, take the right supplements. That's the magic formula. And the blood sugar starts gradually coming down. Their doctor is able to gradually wean them off their meds. And that's what happens. So there's not just 1 food, 2 foods that they can get rid of, and that's the magic formula. This is a it's a challenging process, but it's still easy because our program is not a diet. So no one's ever hungry on our program, which is the most important thing. So if you try and starve somebody like 1,000 calories a day, they'll never stick with it. They'll quit after a month or 2. The willpower eventually burns out, and they're not going to sustain that for the rest of their life. So we have to make our program easy enough so somebody can do it for every day forever, because that's what they have to do. It's got to be a lifelong process of eating the right foods. Otherwise, the diabetes will come back again, right? Because we're just putting it dormant into remission. This is not a cure, because there is no cure for type 2 diabetes, but it can be reversed and stayed in that dormant phase for the rest of your life as long as you keep eating the right way. So that's where the coaching and training comes in when people join our program.
I love how that's phrased. There's no cure for it, because it is not like a disease where all of a sudden it just comes along. Like you catch it. No, you've created this through the foods you've eaten years over years or months over months. And that number one, when you say, hey, you need to cut out certain foods, that's going to threaten people's comfort zone of their brain. And the biggest foods, the sugars, the high fat, the processed food, like people, when they hear that, they're probably like, you're going to threaten their world by telling them what to do. But on the other side, when they start doing it and they see those numbers go down and feel better, it's like, to them, they've now recaptured their ability to have a healthy life.
Well, again, like you can imagine, compliance with our program is the entire ballgame, right? When people follow it, they get better. If they screw around, they cheat, and don't do it, they're not going to get better. It's like joining a gym. Just joining a gym doesn't get you physically fit. You got to get your butt to the gym and actually exercise, right? And nobody can do the push-ups for you. You got to do them yourself. So you got to want it. That's the first step, right? That's why most patients that join our program, they join because they're scared, right? There's a healthy level of fear. Like they're already getting neuropathy in their feet. So they're afraid of getting an amputation, right? They're already on high blood pressure pills and cholesterol. So they're afraid of having a heart attack or a stroke. Their doctor told them they've got kidney damage. They don't want to go on dialysis or need a kidney transplant. So there's symptoms that they're having and they're like, holy crap. Now I know it's reversible. Yeah, I don't want to do that because they don't want to die. So it's the person that's in their late 40s, early 50s who just got diagnosed taking one pill and they're still feeling pretty good. There's no urgency for that person, unfortunately. Unfortunately for that person, they've got to get worse and get some symptoms before they stop screwing around. I wish it wasn't like that, but again, it's human nature. Right? People wait until there's a crisis until they take care of it. And as sad as that is, that's just the way it is. Because again, people don't have the training you and I have, so they don't know. They just want to live their life and that doctor's job take care of me. And if I get sick, I'll go to my doctor. And it's really not on their mind, like you mentioned. So that's why most people join our program. And again, fortunately for us as a company, there's millions of those people that are scared. And so they want to do our program, which is cool.
And you need companies like that are focused on one thing. And
Yeah.
so people can find it and have guidance and understand that, yes, people are looking at this as just the one entity, not like, oh, you got to do a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Because as you are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, there's a lot of other health issues that can come along with it.
Yes.
Have you seen people start to help type 2 diabetes? Their other things start to get helped out too. So it's just like attacking that one thing. And I think it's a big thing because the metabolic dysfunction, that's where most diseases start.
Yes. Yeah. Again, it's a precursor, right? So type 2 most people, they get diagnosed with type 2 diabetes first, and then they'll get high blood pressure, then they get high cholesterol. So those are kind of the 3 Ps in the pod that we see. Probably 80% of our patients taking diabetic meds, blood pressure, and cholesterol, those 3, because there's such a relationship there with diabetes and cardiovascular problems. So as you said, once we start reversing the diabetes, guess what happens to the blood pressure, cholesterol? That comes down too. So they're able to get off those medications as well on top of their diabetic meds. So we love it when someone comes in taking 6, 7 meds, and 3 to 7 months later, their doctor's got them off all their meds, everything. Blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetic, aspirin, neuropathy meds, gastrointestinal meds, acid reflux, all of it's gone. And they're taking 0. That's what's really cool. That's what we really like to see as a win. Like, it's great getting them out the diabetic meds, but they're still taking blood pressure, cholesterol, aspirin. Like, come on, you can keep going. You can get off those too. Because again, like, it's all about the metabolic state. And this is, like you said in the beginning, this is something that's caused by eating the wrong foods for a lot of years, not exercising enough, and there's consequences to that. It's not genetic, but the good news is because of that, that also means it's reversible when you reverse the process, and that's what's really cool. So,
and I think for when I looked at metabolism and studied it, that's where most dysfunction starts. Once those mitochondria start being disrupted, like you're on a path to diabetes, then the things are just going to blow up. But you're saying like 3 months is really impressive. If someone, I assume they're going to follow that program, and we've seen as coaches in what you do, when someone really buys in, you see things change week over week, like right off the bat. And that's the fascinating part when you tell someone like the biggest thing, and I know what's the highest food you're going to cut out? Sugar, right?
Yeah.
Like once people go without sugar for a week, even if they're not diabetic, I've seen clients that all of a sudden they're like, I feel better. I've dropped already 2 or 3 pounds and my cravings are starting to change after week 2. You can see an immediate change.
Yeah.
The hardest thing is you got to start.
Yeah. And you're right. And that's what's great about our program, right? Is people, when they stop eating the wrong foods, like day 1, they see their blood sugar drop pretty significantly. And they're like, oh, holy crap, this is actually working. And like a lot of diets and wellness programs, it can take sometimes 2-3 weeks before they see any kind of significant change. That's demotivating. when you see it happen like right away, and because our patients are checking their blood sugar every morning, they see it like really fast, like what? Then the weight starts coming off. So that they don't have to wait 30 days before they see results. And that really helps keep them motivated. And even though they got to get rid of all the bad sugar, they can still have fruit in our program. So they're still satisfying that sweet tooth. This is not a no sugar program, meaning like glucose at all. You can have fruits and vegetables and that has sugar in it, right? But it's the proper kind of sugar, not the desserts and the cookies and the crap and all that stuff. So that's the difference. Because if it was a no sugar program, again, our body needs a certain amount of glucose, but it's got to come from the right sources that's more readily digested and assimilated and used for energy. So
100%. And when I say no sugar for the listeners, I do mean no bad sugar, right? I keep
cookies,
fruit, but you and I know that, but I'm glad you kind of corrected me because people are going to think, oh, no sugar at all. What am I going to eat?
You're right.
No, you want good carbohydrates and glucose, fruit and all that stuff. It's just like when I tell people no sugar, like we know that's the bad sugar, the processed food. And I assume your program is pretty strict. Like because that changed 3 to 7 months, you're not going to be one of these programs that's, oh, let's gradually do this. And because we know like that doesn't work. I really find that it's got to be mostly like a almost all or nothing. Hey, you got to want it. You got to create that change and you got to burn that change into your brain and understand this is where we're going to go with it.
Yeah. And it's understanding that human nature, right? Again, the biggest thing, as I said before, is it's not a diet. So they're never hungry. Like we give them the list of foods they can eat and not eat. As long as they're eating from that, they eat as much food as they want to every day to stay satisfied. Okay, like don't overeat, but don't undereat. We're like, oh, I'm always hungry. This program stinks. I can't wait till it's over. You're like a typical diet. It's not like that. They can eat out in restaurants. They have a social life. They still get their sweet tooth by having the fruit. So we got to make sure, as I said, it's got to be something they can do on a long-term basis that's not so depriving. We're like, this just sucks. I hate it. Like you can't have that. Or otherwise, again, it's not going to last. We've had people on our program for 16 years now because it isn't that hard to do. But again, I go back to they still got to want it because they got to go off the bad foods right away. There's no easing into it. This is what you can eat, what you can't. Follow that. And again, because it's not a diet and they see results so quickly, that helps keep them motivated to stick with it.
What are some of the surprising foods that people can't eat that are on your list? I know you already mentioned the processed foods. I think, but for people listening, what are those foods that they might be on the fence about, but they really shouldn't be eating?
Or that they shouldn't be. Yeah, dairy products for sure. You got to get off dairy. Again, lactose in it, which is a sugar. That'll spike the blood sugar, can lead to insulin resistance, which is not good. Obviously, a lot of cholesterol, a lot of fat in there. So dairy product is one of the ones that all the experts say is okay to eat as a diabetic, including the American Diabetic Association, the certified diabetes educators, classes in the hospital. All these people are saying that dairy is okay for a diabetic, and it's not. They also say that artificial sugar is okay. Like you can have soda as long as it's diet soda. Like there's a lot of nonsense out there. But once people realize that there's two schools of thought, like if you're a diabetic and you're okay taking meds for the rest of your life, then there's foods over here you can eat. But if you want to reverse it and get off the meds, there's foods over here you got to eat. And they're different. And that's what people don't realize, that these so-called experts, they're all in the management game of diabetes, not the reversal game. And we are the expert specialists, best in the world at reversing it. That's what we do.
It's always hard because you mentioned some of these big organizations. When you get that big, and this is kind of always my stance, you start to play with big food, big pharma, and these corporations that they don't want to hear what you want to say because the dairy industry doesn't make money off of you. And that's where sometimes I question these big organizations where they steer people because they might say, oh, a little bit of dairy or moderation of this. But people don't really understand moderation. Sometimes they think, oh, well, maybe once a day, and it steers people the wrong way. So I very much appreciate what you guys are doing, saying, hey, we're going against it. If you want to fix this, it's no to this stuff completely. And once in a while, it might not hurt you, but this is done. Like this doesn't exist in your lifestyle anymore.
Yeah. Again, I'm a realist too. Again, big student of human nature, as you mentioned, that a lot of people, they got to get worse before they stop screwing around. And again, my father-in-law, like he got really, really bad. and was kind of scared, but he still didn't want to change his lifestyle. So even when you get scared, some people still don't want to change your lifestyle. They'd rather sit there in a wheelchair with 2 amputated legs and still eating their pizza, their ice cream, because they still want to change your lifestyle. You can't help people like that, right? But as far as the big organizations, like when we used to do seminars live, if I had 100 diabetics in the room doing a seminar and told them our program, we'd have about 15, 20% of those that would actually sign up with the program.
Yeah, that makes
That
sense.
makes 80, 85% didn't do it. Even knowing it's reversible, they said, nah, I don't want to do it. So we're never going to put big pharma out of business with people because of our program, because there's going to be enough people that want the shortcut. They want to take the meds, the Ozempics. And so big pharma is going to be fine, right? For those small percentage that do want to reverse it, we're here. And again, luckily for us, there's millions and millions of those people that'll keep us busy, us helping them, but it's really not going to put a big dent in big pharma. So, and again, and for those 80% too that don't want to do our program, it's a good thing the medications are there because it's saving their life. It's extending their life. So I'm not 100% against it because I know it serves a purpose. My message is, hey, if you do the right things, you don't have to take it. I want them to see there's a choice. And if they want to, hey, hear our program, nope, I'll take the meds. Okay, great. You're an adult. You made your decision. Live with the consequences. But now at least it's reversible. And you've made an informed decision that to not want to do our program, which is fine.
Absolutely. As long as someone knows, and it to me, hearing that 80% will basically tune out and walk away from you and say, no, I'm not interested. When you're saying here, hey, we have the answer. This is like pretty much guaranteed to work because it's lifestyle change. It boggles my mind that people are just like, no, I just don't want to do it, or it's too threatening, or I don't want to change. That one is crazy. So when people are listening, they're going to 100% have that like, oh, what is this really true? Because most people, they're just going to not believe what our industry does. Well, oh, you can put muscle mass on, you can lose weight, you have to do all this stuff. People don't believe it because they've tried it, but they haven't gone to the right program or algorithm that is going to fix them. And they don't realize that this is a long-term thing.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on it. We actually do guarantee results too. So we actually have a better than 100% money back guarantee with our program. So when somebody joins it, when they follow the program as directed, if their diabetes is not reversed, then they get 100% refund plus $1,000 just for trying our program. So we've made it where it's a completely 100% no brainer. Like you have nothing to lose by trying it. So that's our way of getting as many people in as we can. That's what, I don't know, but what they give a guarantee, you might as well give it a shot.
Yeah.
That's what we're wanting to do because we know we've been doing this for so long. We know that when people follow it, they get better. And so that's why we decided to offer that guarantee. And it's really, really cool. I mean, it's just the testimonials we get of how we're just saving people's lives every day. And now we're expanding more internationally. It's really, really cool what we do.
It's awesome, the guarantee, because it is great when you have stuff like that, because it puts the person up against the wall and they're like, on the back of their head, they're like, oh, I'm going to prove them wrong or whatever. And then they're like, well, if I did everything and it's working, crap. Or they come back, they're like, oh, it didn't work. And you're like, well, did you follow it to a T?
Exactly.
And if they don't, it's like, well, there's your thing, right? And it's human when it comes to like human health, especially from a metabolic standpoint. It's so cool that you can see that from the algorithm, because people are going to see changes and they might not understand the physiology behind it, but they're just gonna be like, whoa, what is going on? And it's really driven by the food and the lifestyle we live.
100%, man. And that's the thing. We just got to get them in and just like try it, because you're going to see results so fast. You're going to go, wow, okay, I get it now. Or you mentioned before, they might have tried a bunch of other programs, but they weren't designed to reverse it. So they never saw results. Like, I tried that. Nothing's worked. Okay, I got it. Because you're doing the wrong thing, right? Now this is the right thing. And they see results like that. It's like, wow, okay, I can do this, which is really fun when you see the eyes light up.
Yeah, and it's success, because then it gives you joy that someone changed their life for better, and they're going to now say, hey, I just did this, and they're going to pass that along to someone else, and they're going to be like, never heard of this. I'd never heard of metabolism. I'm going to learn. And for you, I know we talked about the no-go foods. What are the go foods? Like the foods that are going to benefit helping you reverse type 2 diabetes?
Yeah, the 3 biggest ones that people can eat is any kind of fruits, any kind of vegetable, and any kind of meat are okay in our plan. So they can have steak, they can have chicken, fish, all of that's fine on the program. So again, the meat isn't the bad thing, or the chicken. It's how you prepare the chicken, right? So chicken's great, but if you fry it, that's not good, right? If you put hollandaise sauce on something, that's not good. So it's all how you prepare it. That's where people get in a bad state. Like, all I eat is salad. But they go to salad bar, they put Thousand Island dressing on it, cheese, sour cream, croutons. Oh, I'm eating a salad. It's healthy, right? Which not. So that always makes me laugh when I hear that. So yeah, those are some of the things they can. So again, it's very, very easy to follow it because you can find any of those foods in restaurants. Very easy to go out and eat. So you still have a social. You're not eating like lettuce and carrots every day the rest of your life, right? No one's going to do that.
Mm-hmm. And the big one, I know we talked a little bit earlier, is fruit, because you see on social media is now all of a sudden there's this like attack on fruit, and people are going, oh, if you eat fruit and we don't need sugar at all. It's like, that's not reality, because most fruit, I mean, the antioxidants, first of all, in some fruit are just going to overpower the amount of glucose. And I say glucose sparingly because let's take blueberries for an example. Like, you have to eat a good amount of blueberries to get even close to like 20 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
Like, I think people associate, oh, if I have a handful of blueberries, it's the same as having a can of soda. It's like, no, you probably have to eat like a pound of blueberries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So again, it's all, like I said before, it's not a no sugar program. You got to have glucose in your body to survive, for your brain. Everything needs glucose for energy. And that's why, again, the fruits and vegetables are fine. Now, obviously, you don't sit down and eat a whole pineapple in one sitting. We don't allow that. And anytime you have some fruit, we always want to balance it with a protein, like have some nuts with it, or some seeds or something to balance out that glucose you're getting. So yeah, so it's all, again, you can still have that sweet craving satisfied by doing it in a way that's not going to like blow up your blood sugar and have all these other negative effects. So.
And I don't think people are out there, like, I know I in my days putting muscle mass on, I'm eating like 3 bananas. Most people are eating 3 bananas a day. Like, they're going to be fine eating a couple servings of fruit a day. Yeah. So I don't want people to worry like, oh, panic, I can't eat fruit or no sugar at all. And then you mentioned the supplements. You guys have your own supplements. Is it a shake? Is it a couple different ones? And if you don't want to say what's in it, but what does it kind of look like, and how does that help metabolism?
Yeah, so there's capsules. So again, because there's 87 nutrients in it, we can't fit it in 1 or 2 capsules. So it's 7 capsules, but they're small. They're not horse pills. And so we give them this health pack, and it comes in little prepackaged wrappers. So they take 1 packet with breakfast, 1 packet with dinner, and that gives them everything they need. Again, it's got all the A through E vitamins. It's got coenzyme Q10, probiotics, essential fatty acids, a lot of digestive enzymes. So all of that stuff to kind of help with the metabolism. But yeah, so again, it's those supplements plus eating the right way together. That's what makes the body just start kicking in, and it gets rid of that insulin resistance. And now your body can process the glucose the right way without needing medications. And next thing, you're off all your meds. So it's pretty cool.
And that the supplementation is always very important. And this isn't a lot of people's realm. And that's going to help the mitochondria really become really efficient.
Yep.
Those vitamins, the nutrients, there's so many that help. So giving that kind of with breakfast and with dinner, that boost so people understand that it's not, maybe just by eating you can do it, but then you start feeding the mitochondria healthier stuff. So they're not eating the mitochondria, the powerhouse. They're not just eating crap glucose. They're getting good enzymes to run the system, to produce ATP, to use the good glucose, and to really make those things be efficient at burning glucose, fat, sometimes protein when needed, but overall health of that system. Like, that's very important. So it is interesting to hear, because you don't hear a lot of, we say doctors aren't going to talk about, a lot of people steer away from like, oh, the nutrition supplement side of things, because then it kind of gets, I don't want to say hodgepodge, but people are like, oh, they're going to sell me a shake, they're going to sell me this, but you have just nutrients.
Yeah.
You have essential nutrients that people need to run efficient cellular function. And it's the same thing. If you open up my drawer, most of that stuff's going to be in there. Or I have multiple things that are combined that are aiding in gut health, aiding in mitochondrial health. All that stuff plays a role in efficient function.
And the cool thing about our supplements too is they're all whole food vitamins. There's nothing synthetic. I'm a big proponent of that. The supplements have to be whole food. not this synthetic crap that 99% of supplements are like on the market. So that was a big pet peeve of mine. Like the minerals are all chelated to help absorption. There's digestive enzymes in there to help the body absorb it when you're taking it. Because a lot of people take these synthetic supplements and they just pee it right out in their urine.
Yep.
They're not even absorbing it. So you're just wasting your money. So yeah, it took us a long time, about 10 years, to find the proper company that we liked, that had the proper ingredients that I could go to them and say, okay, this is what I want in my formulation. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And they make it for us. It's not sold anywhere. We don't sell it on Amazon. Don't sell it in stores. It's only for our patients because it's part of our patent system. So yeah, the results are incredible.
Wow. So how long, when someone goes on the program for the supplement side, is it 30 days? I know the program might different, but do you have certain, like, hey, we're going to go on for 30 days, retest or reassess? Is it 90 days? What do you kind of measure from the supplement side and then the other side, like the behavior change side?
Yeah. So the supplements, again, we have the 3, 5, or 7 month program we put people on based on their severity. So it's like a mild, moderate, severe case of diabetes, right? And so they get the supplements for the entire program. Now, once they're done with, say, the 5-month program, they graduate and they get taken off of those supplements because they don't need those any longer. Now that the body's reversed, they don't need that amount of supplements every day for the rest of their life. Now, we do recommend a maintenance supplement to take because I'm a strong believer that no matter how well you eat, the soil's depleted, even the fruits and veggies, they don't have the nutrients they did 50 years ago. Like you got to take some kind of supplement to kind of help your body get all the nutrients you need. But yeah, but then they keep eating the right way. And that's what maintains them, is making sure you keep eating the right way. And we also give them a cheat day 1 day a week too, once they're done. Because we found that as long as they eat well 6 days a week, they can have a cheat day and eat some of those non-approved foods and they're okay. So if they're going to a birthday party, a graduation, special event, whatever, that's okay. And then just go right back on the wagon the other 6 days and they're okay. But there's no cheating as you're going through the program though. And that's strict for that.
And I'm sure a lot of people come back to you and after a cheat day and they go, man, I don't feel good after it, or I don't like it, because the system it's almost like getting hit with a bunch of inflammatory food. And it's like, whoa. I mean, I've done that when, like you said, birthday party or something, or there's a wedding and the only thing they got is pizza and you eat it. And the next day you're just like, I can't wait to have a steak in a salad that I make at home and some fruit. You're just like, I can't wait for my body to feel better.
And that's why, again, to your point, a lot of those people do that. They'll have that cheat after being really good for 3, 5, 7 months. They have that first cheat day, like, oh, this feels horrible. So then a lot of them don't even do the cheat day anymore. But we give them that kind of way out. It's almost like a goal to look for. Oh, gosh. So it's not like for the rest of my life, I can't have a slice of pizza.
Correct.
No, for the next 3 to 5, 7 months, you can't. But after that, yeah, have it once a week. It's okay. But again, to your point, sometimes like, that made me feel bloated and I don't want to do that anymore. So
it's almost like I call it an auto regulation day. People go for it and they're like, oh, okay. And then they're like, nah. And then the next time they might do it a couple times. Then the 3rd or 4th time they get to it and they look at it, they go, I remember last time and I don't want to do that again. And then they start veering, they start changing. You're like, no, I'm good. I can pass on this. Or the best is when a lot of my clients, they're like, well, I ate before, I had a shake instead and I'm good. I'm like, yes, because they understand.
Absolutely. Yep.
And with your program, diet and structuring is one of the most important things. Do you talk about exercise at all? Or is it mainly, hey, we're here to talk about what's going on your plate, what you're going to consume? Because for me, like that's one of the most important drivers of overall health. Exercise is important too, but if you exercise and eat like crap, you're not really going to reverse diabetes. Like it's not going to go away, which a lot of people think like, oh, maybe I'll just exercise and keep my lifestyle. It's like, no.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't exercise enough to compensate for a crappy diet. As simple as that, right? I mean, you're getting in shape. It's 85% minimum of what you're eating. So yeah, we do recommend exercise. We give them home exercises that are very simple. They don't need to join a gym. So it makes it simple because our average age is 65 years old. So just getting that demographic to just eat the right way and take our supplements, that's a big deal. So adding on like an hour of exercise a day too, they're like, nah, I'm tapping out. So that's why, again, we give it to them. It's not mandatory, but we at least want them to walk 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That's the minimum we want them to do. Get off your butt and at least get out a little bit. I mean, anybody can do that unless you're in a wheelchair. If you can't do that because your hips and knees are bad, then get on an elliptical machine. Or we tell you, when you're sitting on your couch watching TV, grab a couple of soup cans and go like this for a half hour while you're watching a 30-minute TV show. I don't care who you are, you can do that. So something to get that body moving a little bit. So yeah, we do push that, but yeah, it's definitely more the diet, what they're eating, and the supplements they're taking that gets their body back to normal.
And I love, like you said, the little microdosing of exercise, because there's been studies that come out and are showing that even if you do like 10 squats or 30 seconds of squats every hour, and you might do 10 sets throughout 5 hours, it shows that it's still being able to manage insulin and still give you an effect throughout the day, almost similar to if you did like 1 hour of hard exercise. So it's really the understanding of moving around. I tell a lot of people, like even after eating a meal, a 10-minute walk postprandial can help lower or regulate insulin levels right off the bat. So you have someone on your program, they're eating what you have going on. They're eating great. They're taking the supplements. They might be sitting there on the couch. They get up during commercial and do 10 arm raises and move around after a meal. That's really helping them a little bit more.
Exactly.
But overall, their system is getting guidance from the nutrition program. And I think that's the biggest understanding is exercise is great. And I always tell people to get exercise in, more muscle mass you have, it's going to help manage what we're eating and help manage metabolic process. But it's really what you put in, because no amount of muscle mass, like you said, it's going to change metabolic function of the mitochondria. It doesn't work like that.
Oh, I can't tell you how many people over 16 years we've had that come in that say, I'm exercising an hour a day, cardio, weights, and I'm still a diabetic. I don't understand. Like, well, exactly, because it doesn't matter how much you exercise, it's not going to overcome the crap you're putting in every time you eat. So, but they don't get that. They think they can eat the donut and go burn it off on the treadmill. It's like, it's not how it works.
That's one thing that kind of always drives me is you see people all the time. Oh, I earned this. I did a run this morning, so I earned this donut, or I earned this coffee, which I love coffee, but like coffee with sugar and cream, holy smokes. That's like a diabetic bomb right there, because it's basically candy in a cup. But when people say it's like, you're not understanding, because the exercise did one thing, but that insulin levels that's going to get raised from the glucose that you're putting in, holy smokes. And you do that repetitively throughout the day. Physiologically, the exercise isn't going to blunt that. Now, maybe if we could reverse it and say, hey, you want to have coffee? Okay, have a coffee and let's go run 10 100-yard sprints. I guarantee you're not going to, every time you have something sugar, you do that, people are not going to want to eat sugar. But that's the reality when it comes to like eating sugar. It's a process. And I learned this when I was in nutrition in grad school. For one M&M, you have to walk the length of a football field to burn it off. So when someone's like, oh, I had a pack of M&Ms, I'd be like, all right, let's get walking, because you got a lot. You have like 1,000 yards to go. But people can't conceptualize that. And that's why when we talk this stuff, people have to really conceptualize what they're putting in their body. I think you guys are doing a great job of like, hey, this is what the standard is, and there's nothing underneath it, because here's what we set and here's our guarantee.
Right.
So I know we're coming up on close to an hour. Anything else you want to get to or get into?
No, again, I just want anybody watching who is a type 2 diabetic just to realize the simple fact that it is reversible. You do not have to keep living your life with this disease, thinking that there's no hope and thinking that the best you can do is keep taking a cocktail of meds every day for the rest of your life and have to deal with the side effects and the consequence. You don't have to. We have solution. It's guaranteed, it's patented. So they can just go to one of our free webinars and learn more about it to see if it sounds like a fit for them. So
awesome. And for that one last kind of question, because I see people, and I'm sure you see people all the time, with the monitors on the back of the arm or monitors somewhere. It became really popular. Do you guys use monitoring at all? Or when people, what are your kind of thoughts about when people like, hey, I'm going to do this, but they're still out there eating like crap and doing everything, but they're saying, hey, my glucose is good, then I get to have something.
Yeah. So again, the whole CGMs, the continuous glucose monitors that they stick on their arms now that measures their blood sugar 24/7. It's gotten really popular the last few years. So we don't recommend they have to have that. Because when they come to us, remember, they're already diagnosed from their doc. So either they're having one of those or they're poking their finger every morning, checking their blood sugar with their glucometer. Either way, they're checking that. So we get that data. So that's why they have to check in with their coach once a week minimum. So we know what's going on. So if their blood sugar is flatlining after a couple of weeks, we know they're cheating, right? Because again, this physiology, if you eat the right thing, that's going to start coming down. If it's not, you go, hey man, what's going on? Fess up. What happened? Oh yeah, I had Mexican food last night or whatever. So they'll tell us what happened. But yeah, we definitely monitor. We need that data. And that's what's nice with diabetes because it's very easy to track that. So we can see either it's working or it's not, what's happening. We can adjust and troubleshoot. Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Awesome. And you said free webinar. Where can people go and find that?
Yeah, so real simple. Just go to reverseyourdiabetes.com and you can register for one of our free webinars. Very simple. Just reverseyourdiabetes.com.
And that webinar, is that like a 30 to 60 minute like educational session?
It's about an hour long. Yep. And at the end of that, they'll have a chance to book a consultation with one of our consultants. We can customize the program for them and get them in the program. So, but that's the first step is just watch that webinar, no obligation, a lot of great information. Then they get to decide to do what they want to do after that.
Biggest thing for people listening is educate yourself. Like even listening to this conversation, if you want to go to the webinar, you're going to learn more about the metabolic function of the body, how the body works. And then your understanding from there is going to probably open that door to say, hey, I need to change something in my life. Because if you're already clicking that webinar link to watch, I assume someone's already thinking, I need to make a change. And I hope many people educate and go and say, hey, I want to learn more about what I'm doing to my metabolism. Maybe not even people who are diabetic, people who are pre-diabetic, or they might listen and say, I just want to be aware about my blood work or where my insulin's at. And that is the most important thing to get people to understand that change, it's hard, it's simple steps, but it can be done.
Yep.
And your guys, can we find you on social medias, website?
Yeah, I mean, that's the website to go to. It's reverseyourdiabetes.com.
Perfect.
And yeah, we're on social media, et cetera. But for anyone watching, that's the place to go. Just go there and they can check us out. And that's the first step. And then again, it's very low key, it's up to them what they want to do. We're giving the information. Either you want our help or you don't. But we want to make sure everybody knows that it is possible to reverse it. And then they can decide if they want to do it or not.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, man. It was my
Matt
pleasure.
Gluckman and Eric Menchie here from Think Fitness Life. Our entire careers have been dedicated to fitness, particularly how the mind helps the body. We've been around gyms and nutrition strategies for 25 plus years collectively, and nothing harms or helps better than your own mind, untrained or trained. Pushing beyond your limits, overcoming whatever's thrown your way, and making the decision to show up day in and day out as a lifestyle takes more soul than sand. And what I mean by that is when you can get your mindset and heart leading you consistently in the direction of your goals and dreams, well, it's just a matter of time before you have the performance, physique, or quality of life you're yearning for. See, your thoughts will stem from your beliefs, which will then lead you to action, which develop into your behavior and ultimately lead you to results. It's really that simple. Our process takes time and it takes open communication. It's amazing what pops up along the fitness journey to betterment, and we can be there every step of the way. To learn more or apply for coaching, visit www.thinkfitnesslife.com. Start recreating your life today.